Okay, y'all, so I'm about to make some cornbread dressing. I'm going to show you guys how I make my cornbread dressing, which is very delicious. Trust me on this one, okay? Now, the only thing that I'm going to do different today than I would, I'm not going to make my chicken broth from scratch, okay? I'm going to use some chicken broth that I bought out the store. And the chicken broth that I'm using is this organic chicken broth, okay? Now, here in this pan, I have my cornbread crumbled up, okay? And also I added some stuffing mix. Now, I like to use the savory herbs. You can never go wrong with the savory herbs stuffing mix. Now, when it comes to the flavor, you can use chicken, turkey, pork, whatever, okay? I like the turkey flavor, to be honest with you, because usually my favorite broth is actually turkey broth, but chicken broth is very good too if you make it from scratch. Okay, y'all, let me move these out the way. These are gonna be my spoons that I pulled out for my tasting. You got to have you something to taste it with for your seasoning. Okay, so the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna add my vegetables to my chicken broth. My Southern cornbread dressing. This Southern cornbread dressing is gonna be chicken. I'm gonna put some chicken in there. Now I have my celery chopped up. I am not going to saute this because this is for me. This is how I like it, but I'm telling you that it tastes good. You do not have to saute it. Make sure you cut them up real small, okay? Small. So I'm gonna add my celery. Okay, this right here is about 4 stalks of celery. I know some people, they use 3. I'm going according to my taste, and I like my seasoning, okay? So that's a lot of celery. Because this is a huge pan, and this gonna probably end up making this that roasting pan that you can put a turkey in. It's gonna make a lot of dressing because I'm gonna freeze some of it, okay? This right here, I have some bell pepper dice. I'm not gonna, I cut up 2 bell peppers. They were like a medium-sized bell pepper. And yes, I'm telling y'all, this is gonna be some good dressing. Also, I got me some onions. I'm adding some onions. Chop up some onions, okay? Now, you add as much or as little as you like when it comes to your stuffing. But down here we call it Southern cornbread dressing. If you don't add these ingredients to it, you won't have any flavor. You got to add flavor to your dressing, okay? If you want to cook your vegetables out for a few minutes, you can, but I'm not going to because guess what? It's going to cook in the oven anyways. Okay? Here, I got my chicken shredded up. I didn't make my chicken from scratch. I just went to the store and bought some chicken, brought it back home, and pulled the meat off of it because, like I said, I didn't boil a hen like you usually do for your dressing, but it's still gonna be good, okay? And just shred the chicken apart, you know, that's all you have to do. Y'all excuse my puppy. He craving for some attention right now. And my daughters are gone, so they can't give him the attention that he needs. And also, to this dressing, I'm gonna add in some eggs, okay? That's the amount of boiled eggs that I just put in there. I put in 5 boiled eggs. And that's because of the size of the pan that I'm using. Y'all, let me wipe this off right quick. Then I'm gonna wash my hand. And we're gonna start mixing this. Okay, let me wash my hand right quick, y'all. Okay, y'all, so let's just focus on mixing this together. I'm not gonna add in the seasoning yet. I'm not gonna add my cream mushroom or broth just yet because I wanna mix this stuff together before I start adding everything else. And for this recipe, you got to use your hand, okay? You got to. So go ahead and mix this up together really good, okay? And I'm gonna turn the camera off and go ahead and just mix this together, and then I'll be back for the next step, y'all. Okay, so what I like to do is I add in cream of mushroom, cream of celery, and I add in cream of chicken with herbs. Look at it now, cream of chicken with herbs, cream of mushroom, cream of celery. Even though we got those ingredients in there, we're gonna add some more. Okay, so first thing first is I'm just gonna add black pepper. This is a large pan, so I'm just gonna go across this pan like this with this black pepper. Okay? There ain't no 1, 2, 3 tablespoons. This has got, you got to taste this, okay? And don't say I'm heavy with it. You need black pepper, okay? I'm gonna go across him with a little garlic. Okay, not too much of that now. For that right there, I will say just about 2 tablespoons because you don't want no garlic dressing, okay? I'm not gonna add like extra salt because some of the ingredients that I'm using, they all contain salt. I'm gonna add a little bit of this Creole seasoning, this Slap Your Mama seasoning, okay? I'm gonna add in some poultry seasoning. Okay, some poultry seasoning. You need the poultry seasoning. Even though I use those boxes that had seasoning, I want some more. I just want to make sure that it tastes properly. Don't use too much now. It's a big pan, so that's why I use the amount that I'm using, because I got a big pan, y'all, okay? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna tell y'all, oh, my onion powder. Let me add in some onion powder, okay? I knew I was forgetting some. Didn't seem right. Okay, so we got some onion powder. And I am gonna add in some chicken bouillon, okay? You don't have to add in a whole lot. Remember that is salty. We're just trying to get a little flavor up in there, even though we're using that other chicken broth. Okay? So add that. I say about 2. For a big pan this size, I'm using 2 tablespoons. So now I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna start dumping in my cream of chicken with herbs. That's 1 can. Now if you just want to use cream of chicken soup only, you can do that. You don't have to add in the cream of mushroom or the cream of celery if you don't like it. But I'm just telling y'all how I do it to make some doggone good dressing. Because I done been some places, they stuff don't got no flavor. And mine got to have some flavor. Okay? So I got that whole can of that. Now I'm gonna add in my cream of celery. Y'all, I hate when my arm be in front of the camera. I got a whole can of that. So I hope you guys are gonna have a fabulous week. Leave comments down below. Let me know if you're traveling, you're going to see friends or family. Okay. Now, this cream of mushroom, I got a big can. I'm not gonna use the whole can, okay? Well, okay, so that's a half of that can. Now it's time to mix this in before we mix in our broth. Okay, so now let's go ahead and let's mix this in together and stir it really, really good, okay? Make sure that everything is well combined. Okay, so now it's time to add in our chicken broth. Okay, when it comes in these containers like this, shake them up really, really good. Okay, like that. I'm gonna start out with one box. I'm gonna mix that together, and then I'm gonna add in the second box because I know I'm gonna need it. Because I don't want no dry chicken and cornbread dressing. Down here in the South, when we make Southern cornbread dressing, we do not make dry cornbread dressing, okay? So mix that in, like so. I'm gonna mix this one in, and then I'll be back. So now, I have 1 stick of butter melted. And I'm gonna add this 1 stick of butter in here. And I did add some better than bouillon to this stick of butter. I'm gonna mix that in really, really good. This butter's gonna make it rich, and it's gonna bring out the flavors of all those seasonings that we use. Now, I ain't add sage because those herbs from that stuffing box has sage in it, okay? So I didn't need to add any more. And my poultry seasoning has sage in it. I'm not a big fan of a lot of sage. I just like a taste of sage, okay? Now, if you're a big fan of it, go ahead and add you a few teaspoons of sage in your cornbread dressing. But I didn't need to add that extra chicken broth in there like I thought. But I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna mix this in. Okay. Okay, everyone, so I mixed everything in. My Southern cornbread dressing is ready to go into the oven. Okay. I'm gonna bake this for about 45 minutes to an hour. It may take a little longer because this is a big pan. And if your cornbread dressing isn't jiggly, you don't have enough broth in it. You want it to be a little jiggly like that, okay? So let me go ahead. Let me just show y'all the consistency, okay? This the consistency, okay? You don't want no dried up cornbread dressing, okay? So let me go ahead and put this in the oven, y'all. And I'll be back when it's done. Okay, so now it's going into the oven, and this may take up to an hour because, like I said, for the size of the pan that I got. Okay, I'll be back once it's done. Okay, everyone, so my cornbread dressing is done. It's brown on the top because my daughter and them, they like a crispy top and crisp around the edges of their dressing. But here it is. It's moist. It's not too jiggly. I'm still trying to let it cool off some, but I want y'all to see my Southern cornbread dressing. I hope you guys enjoyed this video tutorial on how to make some delicious cornbread dressing. Southern style cornbread dressing by Cooking with TK. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Leave lots of comments down below. and stay tuned to my channel for another video.